I've been putting this off for a long time, but the day has finally come for me to make over my sad little downstairs hallway. This is the last mostly untouched area of my flat, and I've left it this long because it is what it is, just a little piece of hallway. I have a first floor flat, so most of the fun goes on upstairs, and apart from walking through here when I leave the flat or when I come back home, I really don't spend any time down here, so it hasn't felt like a priority to make it any less gross until now. So let me start by giving you the tour. This is my front door, and as you can see, it's white and grubby, and it slams into this wall and makes a little hole every time that it's opened. It does have a nice big window above it though, which is great for letting in lots of natural light, and as you can see, it is heavily adorned with spiders' webs. And I have actually noticed that there's also a little spider perched just there on the hinge of the door while I speak. So that's nice that he showed up for this intro. There's actually another one right down here. Thankfully I'm not afraid of spiders, otherwise working down here would be a bloody nightmare. Over here I have a small cupboard which contains my electricity meter box, and underneath that there is this shelf which I had put in a couple of years ago, and then under there is another little cupboardy thing that doesn't open, and I don't know what's behind it. I'm guessing pipes. Then we have this wall, which is arguably the nicest thing in this hallway because it is covered in original Victorian paneling, and I'm really excited for it not to be all chipped and messed up in the future. The floor is a faux wood vinyl which I got installed at the same time that I got the same flooring installed in my toilet and my bathroom, and it's fine, it's functional, and mostly unexciting. On the ceiling we have some original floral decorative detailing, a few of which are missing. Then we've got a hook and a pendant light which has never had a lampshade on it, and that is basically it. Another reason why I've neglected this space for so long is because I haven't been able to decide on what to do down here. It's obviously a small space which gives a good opportunity to do something quite bold and fun, and I had originally thought that I would do a 360 paint job on all of the walls and the ceiling in either a green or a red tone is what I was imagining. You can see I've got a peel and stick swatch that I stuck on the wall at least 2 years ago now, which is a colour that I was originally considering painting in here. But since having that thought, I encountered two issues with it. Number one being that this wall turns into this really tall wall, which I have already painted white and which I really don't want to repaint because that will be a major pain in the ass. I also don't know how I could transition the wall if it cut off here, say, from one colour to the white without it looking clumsy, and I don't like the idea of having this wall white and the panelled wall a colour. I'm not sure why particularly I don't like that idea, I just don't think that it will look good. And number two issue I've encountered is that since I painted my stairs green, I think that having all of the walls down here green as well might be a bit too much, and if I painted them red it would run the risk of it looking extremely Christmassy, which I really want to avoid. So I've settled on keeping the base of this space white and just adding in pops of colour around the place instead. So to explain this more thoroughly, let's go back upstairs and I will show you the plan. So here is the hallway as it currently stands, and I'm going to start by saying that this is going to be part one of a two-part makeover, because despite the small space that we're working with here, I do have quite a lot to do, and I've also recently increased my hours at my normal job somewhat significantly. So if I try and get this all done in one video, we're going to be looking at an end of November release date, which is a stretch too far even for me. But I'll show you everything I'm going to do across both videos now so that you get to see the vision before we get to work. So the first thing I'm going to do after doing all of the sanding and the prep work is to give all of the walls and the woodwork a fresh lick of white paint, which is admittedly a boring choice, but I think it's going to work well because I intend to bring in some fun colour on the ceiling. Because this is a transitional space between outdoors and indoors, I like the idea of leaning into natural colours in this room. So I'm going to be painting the main part of the ceiling blue, like a lovely clear sky, and then I'm going to accent that with a nice green trim. I'm going to try to recreate the existing floral ceiling detailing and make a few more of those to fill in the missing flowers. Then I'm going to paint all of those flowers in shades of light green, peach and pink to really make them stand out and pop on that ceiling. And then the last bit of painting I want to do is on my sad front door. I've been researching how viable it is to paint UPVC and I'm feeling confident enough, I think, to at least give it a go. I'm hoping that the door is far enough away from my green staircase to be able to bring in that red colour that I wanted without it looking too festive, but we'll see how that goes. I want to bring in a rug, a vintage lampshade and a wall mounted coat hook, and I've got an idea to cover up that ugly plastic cable casing by making a big paper mache, obviously, flower that's going to sit above the light switch. Then I'll finish the space with artwork and styling bits to hopefully bring it all together and make the entrance to my home finally feel as welcoming as the rest of it. I'll go into more of that stuff in the part 2 because in this video we are mainly going to be tackling the bigger DIY bits and I have a lot of sanding and cleaning and painting to do. So let's get on with it. So I'm going to start out today by first clearing all the cobwebs off of this window and also pulling up all of this weird wiring, which I'm guessing was for a phone or something. It's clearly not connected to anything anymore, but it goes up around the whole door frame. So I'm just going to whip all of that down and give this an initial go over with the hoover. I'm going to be a bit sad at this point to see these cobwebs gone because they've become such a feature of the home, but it's time now for a fresh start. I just took these things off the door frame and there was a massive spider inside one of them and it was crawling on me and it did freak me out a little bit, but I put him outside now. Hopefully he'll thrive out there. Just pulling this wire down now and it goes up mysteriously into this corner. I don't know to where, so I'm just going to cut it off at the source because we don't need this shit anymore. There's a load of little nails in this door frame that now need cleaving out. Way! It's been like half an hour and I only just finished pulling all of those weird little nails and screws out of the door frame and I am incredibly sweaty. I forget how much hard work DIY actually is. I'll show you how it's looking, but it's obviously not majorly different. I think next I'm going to start sanding the outside of the door frame as well, just to get that prepped before I can fill in all of those holes with some wood filler. I've also noticed that the sealant around the door is getting a little bit mouldy, so I think I'm going to have to scrape that out and reseal it, only I do not have the correct sealant for that at the moment, so I don't want to pull it out until I can replace it the same day. So I'll just do as much as I can today, give it a good clean, and we can come back to it another day. Once I've had a chance to go to the hardware shop, you can see we have a lot of holes going on. Also, just to note, it is quite a gloomy day, which is why my face is very dark in these shots. But there's nothing that can be done about that now because it is now September and I'd intended to get this project done over the summer while it would be light and warm for drying of paint, etc. I didn't manage to achieve that, but I don't want to wait a whole other year, so we're just going ahead with it now. Actually, you know what, I've realised I should probably clean everything before I sand it. So I have a nice big tub of warm sugar soaky water here, which I'm going to be using to scrub down the surfaces for initial clean before we sand. I also think I should probably scrape off this paint off of this lower step before I do anything else as well. I don't know what this is made of. Is it concrete maybe? But it's got a little flaky paint on it. So I've got my scraper and we're going to get that off before we do anything else. I'm really not enjoying spending time down here. You know what, this scraper, I bought this when I first moved in and I think it was from Poundland. And this has probably been my most used tool in the whole of this renovation. I've scraped pretty much every room in my flat with this guy. So let's give him some recognition for a job well done. Although he doesn't seem to be working that well on this. I don't know why it doesn't want to come off. It's just getting the angles right. I'll show you a before and after rather than watching an hour of scraping content. Before and after. Can you believe that that was 45 minutes of scraping and it still looks like shit? Here's my pile of scrapings. I'm gonna just carry on scraping some of this stuff off around the door because I realised a lot of this bit that looks mouldy is actually a thin layer of sealant that's gone onto the door frame. So I'm gonna see how much of it I can scrape off. Then I'm gonna start cleaning things. I did have to pull the sealant out from underneath the door frame because it was all broken and mouldy, so I just did that as I was scraping because it started coming away anyway. But yes, I'm going to show you this door again when it's had a good scrubbing and it's no longer disgusting like this. Okay, another hour has passed and I've basically just been scrubbing and scraping the door area, and it is looking a lot less grubby now, which is great. It's obviously not the most thorough clean because I'm about to mess it up all over again by sanding. So we're starting this approximately 2 hours after I originally said that I was, but spending the time cleaning it was definitely worthwhile, and now we can sand. I genuinely hate doing this kind of prep work. It's so exhausting and so thankless, and it's made even harder by the fact that this is a tiny space and I'm trying to film everything as I go. And I don't think any of this is particularly interesting anyway, because all I'm going to be doing for the next few hours is just sanding every piece of woodwork in here. So I think I'm going to sign off for the time being, do all of the sanding and do another little cleanup, and then I'm hoping I'll still have time today to do the whole filling, do some caulking around all of the edges of the things, and then this space will be mostly prepped. So I'm going to sign off until the time when it is, because I'm surrounded by rubbish, I'm stressed out, I'm hot and sweaty. So I'm going to see you again in a few days' time. An hour and a half later, and I know I said that I wasn't going to film anymore today, but I just finished sanding all of the woodwork around the doors, all of the skirting boards, this thing. I do still have this to do, but I started going to sand this panelled wall, and I just happened to find a little loose bit of paint kind of peeling off. So I peeled it out of interest, and it comes off so easily. I think that this panelling was never prepped properly before it was painted on top of. And now I'm thinking, instead of painting it, do I peel all of the paint off and refinish the wood instead and have a wooden wall? Would that be nice? I don't actually know, but I do know that I want to do more peeling. And whether I paint on top of the paint or whether I paint on top of the wood doesn't really make too much of a difference for me. Either way, I was going to need to sand it. And it just comes off so easily. And I kind of just want to see what this would look like wooden. So I'm going to now spend hours peeling this wall. I did say that I wanted to go with natural tones down here, and what's more natural than wood? I don't know if I'm going to regret this, but I am going to carry on regardless. So I've just been using the scraper to get a little bit of leverage under it and then peeling it off. Maybe I'm just wanting to do this because I'm procrastinating from sanding because I hate sanding, or maybe I'm doing it because it's a genuinely good idea. That has yet to be seen. I don't know how well it'll come off on these shaped bits. Before I continue with this peeling odyssey, I think I'm going to give it a go giving this section that I have already peeled a quick sand, just so I can see what the wood looks like underneath it, out of pure interest. This is an exploratory measure. So that's what that did. And I fear if I was going to sand this all back to wood, it would take me a fucking age. So I'm not sure. But I do want to carry on peeling because it's kind of fun. And I'm already starting a nice pile here of peeled off paint. Also realising now that my camera's about to die. So I think I'm going to carry on peeling, and I'll probably do a little bit more sanding on this panel to get a better idea. Maybe I'll try and scrape some of this varnish off as well. And the next time I see you in a few days' time, I'm going to have some more answers about whether we're going to refinish the wood or whether we're going to repaint. It's a few days later and I am back to carry on with my downstairs hallway. I do fear that I started a foolish task in stripping the paint off of that panelled wall. I did manage to get quite a lot off the other day, but obviously some parts of it are more stubborn than others, especially in all of the ridged areas at the sides of the panels. So I did have to get my heat gun out and I started going over it with that, which also seems to be the only way that I can get that orangey varnish tone off it as well. So it kind of needs 2 layers of scraping before I can even sand it, and it is quite a large wall, so I'll show you as far as I've gotten, including the bit where I've stripped it down right to the bare wood. I am still thinking it's going to look nice wooden, and at this stage I'm very much past the point of no return anyway, so today I'm just going to carry on stripping all of this paint. Slow as it is still quite satisfying to do. So I've got a podcast to listen to, my scraper at the ready, and we're just going to settle into it. 30-minute update. Progress is being made. Also, I thought I would show you that yesterday I bought myself a new scraper because this one is slightly smaller than my other one, and obviously because it's new it is a lot sharper, and I'm finding this much more useful for doing those corner sections on the panels. And this guy cost me £2.99, so I think it's safe to say that I'm moving up in the world. I'm gonna set an alarm for 1 hour's time and then I will show you my progress at that point. 1 hour progress check. We're doing quite well, and we have a big pile of rubbish on the floor. I think I'm going to take this opportunity to clean up the mess I've made so far and then switch tack for a little while and do a little bit of heat gunning on some of this varnish, because I want to get one of these panels fully stripped back just so I can get a better idea of the colour of the wood and the direction I want to go in. It's a few hours later and I really feel like I'm making no progress at all. Even though I have demonstrably made some progress, I've been heat gunning, stripping off the varnish. Some bits have been coming off really easily and other bits have been a pig. I am in way too deep now though, like I said, to stop doing this. I just think it's going to be a multi-day project. So when's this video going to be done? I don't know. This is only the first thing I've tackled, and I've got about an hour left to work on this today before I have to go out. So I'm going to do that sans camera, and thankfully I'm not working tomorrow, so I can come back fresh in the morning and carry on. And I wonder if I can get it all stripped today and tomorrow. Or is that a fool's dream? Start of scraping day 3. Start of scraping day 4. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to scrape off this top bit, but today we're just carrying on with what's left down here. Still a lot to go. Start of scraping day 4, or maybe it's 5. I don't actually know, whatever bloody day it is. I had better finish this today though, because otherwise I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Just got this top bit of varnish to come off, and I have decided I'm leaving this bit painted, and we're gonna go for green around the edges of this and maybe some accent colours or pictures or something in those central bits. Start of scraping day 6, and I am truly losing the will to live with this. My wrist and my hand muscles cannot take anymore. I got the 2 panels at the end to finish off, and I'm hopeful that today's the day. Come on, think positive thoughts for me. Bye. The wall is done, and when I say done, I mean that the paint is mostly off and I've sanded it. And the funny thing is that after spending the last 2 weeks only doing this and going to work, I don't actually know if I like it or if it looks better before. So when I say that's a funny thing, what I really mean is that's a very depressing thing, and it has obviously thrown a spanner in the works for my design plan for this space, and I don't know what it is I'm going to do with it next. Am I going to stain it? Am I going to varnish it? Am I going to wax it? Or am I going to repaint the whole thing? I'm Not sure, and I need some more time to mull it over. And in the meantime, I honestly just need a break from it. So today we are getting back to work and ticking off some of the other little DIY jobs that I have to do down here. Starting off by filling this dent in the wall from my doorknob, and for this I will be using some of this pre-mixed filler, shoving it in there, smoothing it over, and voila. Next, some more filling jobs. I have some wood filler here, so I'm just going to go around and fill up all of these little holes in my door frame. There's also some bits on the panelled wall that could use some filling and patching, so I'll do that too. Next up, it is time to caulk, or caulk if you're American. So I'm going to go around all of the edges of the skirting boards, the door frame, etc., and neaten those up. That's done. Lovely job. And finally, I want to block off this little gap at the bottom of my skirting board here. So I bought this long piece of wooden trim from B&Q. I'm going to chop this down to size, stick it onto the skirting board with some wood glue, maybe some nails as well, and seal around the edges of this too. I'm just clamping it in place with my shoes for the moment. You can see for this DIY process, I have been wearing my swim shoes, and they've actually been really good for this because they have a good amount of grip on the bottom. They don't have steel toe caps obviously, and luckily I haven't dropped anything on my feet, but for my purposes they've worked well. Just gonna sit like this for a little while until I'm certain that it's stuck. A beautiful job. Now all of that's done, all of the filling and whatnot needs time to dry before I can sand it. So for the rest of the day I'm going to take my laptop and plonk my bum up on my sofa, and I'm going to rejig my design plan to take into account my newly wooden wall. And then I'll be back in a few days' time and we can finally start slapping some paint up. See you then. It's painting day, and so far this morning I have sanded back all of the filler that I did the other day, and I've given the space a good hoover and a dust. I mist coated over the wall filler and I primed the new wooden trim at the bottom of the skirting board. I laid down a tarp to protect the floor from inevitable dripping, and now I'm all prepped. I am hopeful that I can get the majority of the painting on the walls, ceiling and woodwork done today. I actually haven't decided yet what it is I want to do with the panelled wall. I do think I want to keep it wooden because painting back over the whole thing after all of the hassle that I went through to strip it back seems kind of ridiculous at this point. But I am wondering if I want to do some fun little painted details on it maybe. I spent quite a few hours playing around on Illustrator the other night trying different things out, but as of yet I have come to no conclusions, and I've realised that I probably need to see the space mostly painted before I can commit to anything. As much as I like having things fully planned and mapped out ahead of time, sometimes that just isn't the most practical way to go about things. And as we've seen with the panelled wall saga so far, plans do change. The only other thing that I know that I'm not going to be able to get painted today is the door, because I only just got around to ordering the UPVC paint for that last night, so it's obviously not arrived yet. But let me show you the paint colours that I do have. First up, for the ceiling we have this blue. This is the Good Home Tough and Durable Matte Emulsion Paint in the colour Monaco. I think this is a nice kind of not too bright shade of blue. I'm just hoping that it doesn't come out really dark in the space. I guess if needs be I could always mix it with some white for a slightly lighter shade. And then for the green trim I went for this shade, which is called Limerick, and I got this both in an eggshell finish for the woodwork and also 5 little tester pots of emulsion that will hopefully be enough to do all of the ceiling-y bits that are not made of wood. It's really annoying that most places don't sell emulsion paints in like a 1 litre this size tin, because I don't always need 2.5 or 4 litres of things, so I end up having to buy loads of minis. And then I got a few more tester pots in 3 colours, which I'm hoping again will be enough to do all of the ceiling roses. So we've got this lighter green, which is called Galway, a pale pink pink Hyogo, is that how you say it? Don't know. And a peachy colour, which I had to go more pricey for and get a Farrow and Ball tester because they didn't have one in the cheapy paint. And this one is called Naperon. I'm not sure whether we're going to get around to painting the flowers on the ceiling today, depending on dry time for the other things, but these are here ready when I do. And then the rest of the woodwork and the walls will just be in a pure brilliant white, of which I already had the paint, but I don't have it here right in front of me. But you know what white looks like. And that's my paint haul. So now we can get started, and we're going to go top to bottom and start off with this blue paint on the ceiling. Oh, it's nice. Doesn't look too dark at all. Good mix. Really nice. And a first look on the ceiling. Ooh. Yeah, that's the perfect colour. I'm doing the first coat with a brush, and then the second coat I'll do over with a roller just to make sure it's even. But as I've said many times on this channel, I really don't enjoy using rollers. I much prefer a brush. First coat on this front bit of the ceiling is done, and I love the blue. It looks a little bit patchy at the moment because obviously it's still drying, but it is the exact colour that I was imagining, so I'm really happy. And we're going to move on to this bit. The ceiling is blue, and I'm really happy with it. And I think I'm going to go straight in with a second coat on this blue because that front section has already dried. So I'm going to do that quickly now, and then we will switch paintbrushes and move on to the green. I've just had a little lunch break, and we are moving on to the green, starting out with the emulsion section. We'll see how far we get with these tester pots. I think I probably over purchased these. I don't think I need as many as what I bought. Ooh, it's a little bit more sagey than I was imagining. I was picturing something slightly more olive toned, but paint always dries darker, so I think we'll be all right. Just realised I forgot to mix it, so let me do that first. This paint's a little bit thinner than the blue, so it might even need 3 coats on this, but we will see. I want to make sure that I'm getting into all the little nooks and crannies on this moulding. This is probably going to be a bit slower than the blue because it's more annoying sections to paint, and I've already messed up. Oops. Okay, doing this green is quite annoying because of all of the little gaps and ridges on this border. I've had to switch to a little fan brush to get it to go on properly. And this is as much as I've done with one of the pots of tester paint. It looks pretty scratchy and pretty patchy, but I will persevere and open up the second pot. Okay, this is 2 tester pots done. Maybe I didn't actually buy too many. I've got 3 more, and this really needs going over because it is so patchy. But I do like the colour green actually. It looks really nice with the blue. Also, it's already 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know what has taken me so long. I didn't start really early this morning because I had to go out to buy some paintbrushes. But I have been doing this for about 5 hours, and I am nowhere near as far along as what I thought I would be. I've definitely been held up a lot by how fiddly this green has been. So I think my plan of action is to open yet another tester pot and go over all of the green that I've done. Then I think I'm going to have to leave my gloss green, my gloss white and my white wall paint for tomorrow because I'm going to run out of time. But yes, this is as far as we've gotten. Also, I'm just realising that my camera is about to die. So I think I will plug you in as I do the second coat on all of this green, and then I will pick you back up for more painting fun tomorrow. Bye. Okay, it's the next day and it is currently 8:30 a.m. so I'm starting early today, and first thing on the agenda today is to paint the top section of the panelled wall in my green gloss paint, as well as the top border around the ceiling and the door frame. So I shall be cracking on with that now. Okay, so I've done a first coat on all of this top bit, and now we're moving on to the top strip of the door frame. And I'm thinking what I want to do is have all of these inside bits of this window white, because that bit there is going to be white and this top strip of the actual door is going to be white, because I think having it green right next to the red door won't look right. But I do want to have this top bit connecting the green on both sides. So I'm just going to tape it off and paint this very top section in our green paint. Hoping that'll look alright. Kind of making this up as I go. Also, it's so dark today. Hopefully it'll brighten up in here later. But it's kind of a dingy October day outside, so not much that can be done about it currently. Also, I know that this video has just been a lot of prep work and a lot of painting, and that's maybe a little bit boring compared to some of my other videos. But these are unfortunately all essential steps to getting this space to a point where I can start doing the fun stuff on it in the second part, which I'm really excited for now, because those are the bits of a makeover that I really enjoy doing. That'll do. Okay, time to paint. Once again, I've been utilising my fan brush for this because it's much better for the edges than a bigger brush, and also because it's really soft bristles. I find that it doesn't leave scratchy marks in the first coat, which the bigger brush does. So once again, the fan brush proves its worth. Once I'm done with this bit, I'm gonna have to leave all of this green section to dry before I can go in with a second coat, and I want to do all of the white gloss paint in one go. So I think next thing I'll do is start adding some of my fun colour to the floral border on the ceiling, which I think will be quite a fun task, albeit hard on the arm and the neck. I'll show you this when it's done. Top of doorway done. Onto these, and I am anticipating these being quite fiddly. So I've got myself 3 little brushes, which will hopefully make it easier to get in all the nooks and crannies. I'm going to start off with this lighter green colour on the leaves around the flowers, which I imagine is going to need a few coats. I really like this shade of green. We will see how it looks once it gets on the actual thing. This flower directly above me is going to be the most annoying one of all of them, because of where it's placed. It's like half over the bottom of the stairs, so it's slightly too high to easily reach from the stairs, but I also can't get my ladder in the right place to be able to reach it. So while I've been painting this bit, I have been propping my foot on the banister post and kind of I'm actually really excited about these. I'm not going for perfect neat finish on these because they're on the ceiling. Nobody's going to be looking at them that carefully. As long as the colours are vaguely in the right place, I'll be happy. And I'll show you when all of my green leaves are painted. It's about an hour later and I've now done 2 coats of the light green on the petals on my ceiling flowers. And in between dry time for those, I also did a second coat of the green gloss paint on all of this trim. So that bit now is fully ticked off the list, and I can move on to doing the petals on the flowers, for which I'm going to be using this peachy, orangey flower and ball paint, which I think will look nice. It's kind of a light terracotta shade. It's also finally brightened up a bit outside, so you can see it a bit better. I am so happy with how the ceiling's looking so far. Such an improvement on the manky off-white that it was before, and yeah, get more painting to do. Let's get on with it. I must say I'm quite excited for these to be done so I can stop craning up at the ceiling, because my neck is struggling a little bit now. But I think it's going to be worth it. I think I'm looking very gormless in a lot of these shots. It's like when you do your eyeliner, you always end up sitting there with your mouth wide open. Ah, really nice. I think it ties in the colour of that wooden wall quite nicely now. Makes it feel a little bit more purposeful. Now I just need to do the same thing on all of these. Now I'm just going to add the pink to the centres of these. Ta-da! Now I'm just going to quickly add some colour to my little hook up here. Done! It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon now, but the ceiling is finally fully painted. I should not need to touch it again. Now the only painting I can do before my door paint arrives is the white woodwork and the white walls, but neither of those are very exciting. So I think I'm going to do those for the rest of this afternoon, and then after work the next couple of days, and then I will be back with you once we've got our red door paint. We can get that done and then wrap up this part of the makeover. Okay, it's a new day. All of my white woodwork has now been painted, as have the walls, and we're moving on to the final paint job and final task of this video, which is to paint this door with my red UPVC paint. This is by Rust-Oleum, and I've just been reading the instructions, and basically all it says is to ensure that the surface is clean, dry and free from contamination. So I just gave the door another good clean now. I need to tape off the windows before I get started, but I think that that's all that needs doing. It doesn't say that I need to sand this, so I'm not going to. It also says it doesn't need a primer, so I'm not going to put one on. I was hoping I'd be able to paint the inside of the door and also the outside of this front door the same colour today, but it's actually raining quite a lot today, so I won't be able to do the exterior, but I will hopefully be able to do the inside. So I'm going to crack this open, give it a good stir, and then slap it up. Look at that colour. I think that that's going to look really good on this door. I'm going to put it on quite thin because I know full well that this is going to need at least 2 coats, if not 3. It says on the tin that this dries in an hour, so I should be able to get enough coats on it today to finish the door. I'm excited about this, and I'm also really excited that once this is done, we can move on to the infinitely more fun job of making little styling bits and putting everything up in this space to get it finished. It has been a bit of a slog getting through this video whilst also juggling it with being at work a lot more, and I do apologise for the fact that my upload schedule is a little bit slowed down at the minute. I'm hoping that the second video isn't going to take as long to make because it's not nearly as big of an undertaking as what I needed to get done in this video. But as ever, things are just going to take as long as they're going to take, and I've kind of come to peace with that, to be honest. I do really want this YouTube channel to be my primary source of income one day, but I also accept the fact that we're not quite there yet, and so I'm just going to use it as a space to share the things that I'm doing at my own pace and not put a load of pressure on myself, because for the first couple of weeks of being back at work more, I was basically trying really hard to not let it affect how often I'm posting, and I was just working 7 days a week, and to be honest, I burnt myself out. And then I'm no good to anyone. Sometimes we just have to accept that we're not superhuman, and there is literally only so much that you can get done in a day or a week, whilst also retaining your sanity, which at this point in my life I am aware is something that I cannot take for granted, because it can be a little bit touch and go at times. While I've been working on this space, I've been thinking a lot about the story of the tortoise and the hare. And the moral of that story obviously is that slow and steady ultimately wins the race. So that's what I'm going to keep in mind. And I'm going to continue the painting of this door, which is currently looking quite streaky, and I'll show you how it looks in a little while once I've got a first coat on all of it. Okay, done. It's looking a very tomatoey red at the moment. This colour is called Fire Brick, but I feel like maybe Dolmio would have been more apt. It's also very scratchy because it's obviously just the first coat, but I have done a little tester patch of what 2 coats looks like, and it looks much, much nicer, smoother and darker. So I'm confident that this is going to turn out really nicely. I wasn't sure what to do with the hinges and the doorknob because they're all made of metal, so I don't think that this paint would work on them. So I've left them white, which maybe isn't aesthetically ideal, and I do like the idea of switching out that doorknob in the future for a nicer one, but for the purposes of this video, we're just going to overlook it. I'm going to give this a little bit of time to dry, although most of what I've done is already dry. It seems to dry really quickly, and based on using this paint, I would highly recommend it to anyone who also wants to paint UPVC doors or window frames or whatever else. And yeah, once this is dried, I will do another coat or maybe two until we've got a nice finish, and I will show you how it looks. Would you look at this red door? It has evolved from a cheap jar of dolmio to a rich homemade bolognese, and I think it looks really nice. It ended up needing 3 coats of the paint, but the dry time on it was super quick. It went on really nicely, and like I said, I would highly recommend this paint. It's getting dusky outside now, and I've made a little bit of a mess in this hallway that needs clearing up. I still need to pull down all of this blue tape and on the door as well once that's dried. So I'm gonna do that, and then tomorrow hopefully we'll get some nice natural light and we'll do the final reveal of where we've got to in this video and talk about the next steps we will be taking in the part 2. So I'll see you then. Here we are at the end of this video, and while we're not quite at the end of this makeover, I am really happy with everything that I've managed to achieve down here in the last few weeks. Before I flip the camera around and show you what this space is looking like now, let's first quickly refresh our memories as to what this space looked like at the start of this process, when it was a bit sad with a lot of yellowing, peeling paint, assorted grub everywhere, and many cobwebs. It definitely wasn't the welcoming space that you want to see when you enter your home, but here it is now. The space feels so much fresher, having had a new lick of white paint, and I'm particularly proud of my mend to the bottom of the skirting board. The gap under here was where a lot of the spiders used to hide, and to be honest, I did feel a bit bad about blocking it up. While I wasn't a huge fan of having them around, I didn't want to punish them unnecessarily for just trying to cohabit with me, so I did leave a gap behind this thing so they can still hang out and hide down here if they really want to. I really love how the ceiling has come out. The blue and the green and all of the coloured details on the flowers and the hook have just injected some much needed colour into this space and made it feel much more finished and much more welcoming. I'm now a huge fan of my wooden wall, which, while not in the original design plan for this space, has really brought in some warmth and is actually very unlike anything else that I have in this flat, so I appreciate the novelty of it too. It also taught me to never again underestimate the task of peeling paint off of something. The red door is a huge improvement, and I am so happy to see all of that crappy wiring gone from the woodwork around it. I'm not certain if I want to do something to the window above it, and I am considering adding some stained glass window film on there maybe to bring in even more colour into this hallway. But if I do that, it will be happening of course in the part 2 of this video, which will be coming on the channel in the future. Also in that video, you can expect to see me try and recreate the missing flowers on my ceiling, make a bespoke piece of art for my wall, and maybe add a few more small painted details to the panelled wall. I need to cover up the ugly light cable casing, though I am now second guessing whether or not I want to do the flower thing that I'd originally planned, or if I want to do something a little bit more abstract maybe. Still got to think on that. I need to add some coat hooks, a lampshade and a rug to cover up some of the vinyl flooring, which now I think is warring a little bit with the wooden wall because they're slightly different tones of wood. Then I'll be bringing in some other thrifted styling bits and maybe doing a couple of other small crafty projects. So if you'd like to see any of that, please do stick around. If you're new here, please subscribe. And as ever, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the future. Bye bye!